Well, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really means a lot to have you on board. You're at the Five Forks. I'm your host, and my name is Barry. Here at the Five Forks, we discuss topics of interest for the newly retired, those about to retire, and some topics for those that might have been retired for some time. I hope that these things that we discuss will be informative and entertaining, and I hope you check in each week to see what's new. So come along for the ride. Let's get started. Here's today's episode. Wow, what am I doing here? That's a very good question, and I hope I can answer it. Today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to what this brand new podcast of mine is all about. It's something that I've thought about for a while and decided to just take a leap of faith and jump into it. Now, let me start out by saying that I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm nobody special. But I think I do share a lot of the same issues with many of you out there who are at this stage of life. And by this stage of life, I mean our later years, our retirement years. And we're at a point in life where we're just apt to enjoy each day without any preconceived ideas about what might be expected of us. That's very liberating when you think about it that way. No expectations, just pure enjoyment of each and every day and what lies ahead. Man, I hadn't been able to do that since I was a kid. And as I move out of the workforce and settle into retirement, I'm going to try to chronicle what it's like to finally be able to stop working. I've been working for 50 years, and now I don't have a job. That's a big leap, and I have no way of knowing what's in front of me, but I do know for sure that I'm going to try to make it a big adventure as I can. I'll let you in on some of the many basics that I had to consider before I made the leap to quit work. I'm sure you're facing some of the same things, or have faced some of the same things. I just truly look forward to this new chapter, and I'll bring you along with the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, and just the everyday endeavors that make retirement life so much fun, or at least I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of fun. As retirees, we do face many issues, from financial to health and well-being, to how to fill our days. What do we do in retirement? All these things that we'll discuss in more detail as we go along in future episodes. But it doesn't stop there. I've lived a very full life leading up to now, and I don't expect that to change. I've been blessed in that I've got many great friends, a wonderful family, and I've been on some exciting adventures already. And all these things have produced stories that are worth telling. And as I can remember them, which I have a little trouble sometimes with the memory, but I will share those. And I think that'll be fun. I've been fortunate. I've been able to travel to many areas in the United States that are definitely worth talking about. But in addition, I've been lucky. I've been to many areas across the globe. Each one of those memories have, again, a story that I might want to tell. I know that I've been to some very interesting spots, and I'd like to bring you along and tell you about those. Not necessarily as travel advice, but to point out some interesting spots that I've visited, something that you might enjoy. And I firmly believe that you got to retire to something. I've been asked about hobbies and things to keep me active. And I just have to chuckle because, man, do I have some hobbies. I'll be diving headlong into a couple of them, but you can't do everything. I've gone throughout my life, my entire working career or whatever. I developed a lot of interests, and I made hobbies out of some of them. But when you're raising a family and you're working full time, you just don't get really good at any of them. I did devote more time to some than I did to others, so I consider myself decent in those, but not proficient in any of them. I hope to change that. And we'll talk about some of those things as I go along in my future episodes. Golf in particular is one I want to spend more time with. I've always enjoyed golf, been playing it most of my life, but I've never gotten really good at it because I was just a weekend warrior. And I hope to spend more time playing more often and just getting a little better because it's a great game, wonderful game. And I love fly fishing. Now, fly fishing gets you out in the outdoors. You've probably heard the saying, trout don't live in ugly places. And that's true. I mean, it's just some beautiful places, mountain streams, so on and so forth, that are just nice to visit. So I really enjoy fly fishing. But in addition to that, I enjoy fly tying. And that's a neat hobby, and especially gratifying when you catch a fish on a fly that you tied. So we'll talk about some of those things. Man, if I didn't have enough hobbies, I decided I probably should learn a musical instrument. So I'm doing that now. I do have more time to devote to it. So I've always wanted to learn the guitar, doing a little bit of that. And at the same time, I decided I wanted to learn the banjo. So I'm doing that as well. So I guess I'll keep you abreast of how that's going. Yeah, I may stay with it. I may not. That's how hobbies are. You spend time with them, you drop them, you come back to them. But it's my hobby, so that's all that really matters. So I guess to answer my own question, what am I doing here? I guess I'm starting something new. It looks like I'm creating a new hobby with this podcast. Something that I wanted to do, so I said, well, let's figure out how to do it, and how to get it done. Let's go at it. You're never too old to start anything. I mean, people say all the time, I've lived my life. I'm just too old. I wish I'd have done that when I was in my 30s or my 40s or whatever. You're not too old. You can start anything at any time. And to walk a mile, you got to take the first step. Starting something new is scary. And to do something like this podcast, that's really scary. Will people listen to me? Do I really have something to say that people will come back to each week to listen and see what I have to say? I hope so. Will I get this thing started? Will I put time and effort into it and then fail to gain an audience? Man, I hope not. I don't know. But I will give it my best shot. You got to start somewhere. And I recently heard a quote that really brought that into focus. The quote is from a guy named Brian Lubin, or I hope I said that right, Lubin. He's got a podcast and a blog, and he has some training videos. It's called Action Academy. And this is what he said. Your worst case scenario is your present reality. Your worst case scenario is your present reality. It can only change from here, so why not? Let's take off. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, the one thing this podcast is not and won't be is I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a retirement planner. So you're not going to get that type of information here. There's plenty of people out there on video or folks on podcasts that are dedicated to that kind of format, but not here. If you need financial advice, please find somebody who's a professional in that field and go to them. What this is a lifestyle podcast. It's going to look at real life situations as I go through them. My podcast. We'll look at entertaining things that I'm involved in. There's nothing more and nothing less. I'm going to always try to keep it lighthearted, but at the same time, there's going to be some serious moments because I'll be keeping it real. As we're retired, or I shouldn't say as we're retired, but as we get older, as we move along in our years, we're going to be faced with life moments and maybe some health conditions or something that comes up that just completely, knocks us off our feet because that's the way it is in this stage of our life. So when I talk about those things, I'm going to speak frankly and I'm going to be realistic about them. And after all, that is life as we live it. Now, none of this is going to be perfect, as you can already tell by listening to this. This is unedited. I'm just throwing it out there. This is a hobby for me, and hopefully it'll be interesting and entertaining to you, but it's just a hobby for me. And it's going to be fun for me, but I hope you enjoy it too. So please come on back each week, see what's up. I look forward to hearing from you. I want you to tell me, what are some of the topics that you want to hear more about in the future as I move this podcast on forward. And I'll see if I can put it together. If I can, then, we'll talk about something that you've asked me to. I hope that we're going to share some of the same ideas as we go along. So as I close today, I'll just say that I look forward to spending some time with each and every one of you. I hope that you'll check back often, see what we're doing. So for right now, y'all take care, and I will see you later. Well, that's it for today. Thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Like, subscribe, and follow so that you'll know when the new episode is available. Share this with your friends, and if you like the content, you can always buy me a coffee. That link is www.buymeacoffee.com/@the5. Once again, you've been listening at the Five Forks, and until next time, when faced with a fork in the road, take it.